Now, what's happening, which you sound pretty like a logical man, like you're trying to have connection with your daughter now, so I would never say don't do that. Yeah, but you're gonna have to. I feel that you're gonna have to put in some major overtime, and and even putting in all the overtime in the world may result in the connection never happening, and not necessarily because of hate towards you from her. It could just be literally because she's just moved on, and it's what's best for her.
You can't you got to accept the challenge of challenging, because this is really a creature of your making.
Okay, hi guys, we're back. We're going to answer another question. The last one was a comment. This is the email we got sent, so I'll read it and we will get into it. Okay, so this is from Jalen. Same as Jalen. He says, "Hello, I found you two from your fatherless daughter video. I appreciated your transparency in that video. I recently started connecting with my daughter again after not being in her life since she was 5 years old. This isn't her mother's fault, it's all of me. She's now 35, and it's been challenging to say the least. As women who didn't have their father in their lives, do you think that at some point too much time has passed to begin a connection with her? I'm interested in a woman's perspective on this because women filter things much different than men. Thank you and have a good day, Jalen." Okay, so yeah, thank you, Jalen. If you guys have not seen that video, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. I will link the video above if you'd like to see that. We got really kind of candid about our relationship with our father and the kind of that whole thing. I think we got asked about that. I can't remember, it was a while back, but so do we think that there's a moment where, I know what you're saying, where so much time has passed, you literally had no connection with your daughter as a small child, teenager or adult, and now she's 35. So here's the risk of not being in your child's life. There is a high risk that she has literally mentally and emotionally moved forward. Okay, now that doesn't mean I can have a connection with her, but there's this thing where human nature, human behavior, accepts the position you're in her life, so she probably has already accepted that she's never had a father.
Right.
35 years old. I mean, that's, come on, from 5 to 35. So she's already accepted that in her life. She's lived her life without a father. She's done things without a father. I don't know if she has children or whatever, married or what, I don't know that, but it's a risk you took.
Yeah.
When you decide to leave, I don't have to tell you this, when you decide to leave, there is a huge probability that that your daughter or son or whatever is not going to have anything to do with you. And sometimes not even in a anger way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of times it is in an anger way, but sometimes people's children who's never had their father around, all of a sudden their father's around, they've moved on mentally. No hard feelings, no kind of like animosity. Really just genuinely live a peaceful life and move forward without you. And now you're in your feelings because maybe she has,
Yeah.
you said it's been challenging to say the least, which is why I'm saying that. So it's challenging because it should be challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, she was challenged.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly.
I think, look, our father, he walked out before Danielle wasn't even born yet.
Right.
And I was barely walking.
Right.
And then he came into our lives when we were like 13. And then he left a week later. Didn't see him again until we looked for him. When we moved to New York, and I was in my 30s. And then, it didn't end well. Like, he just kind of left again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is the thing. Is like Danielle said, at some point, to protect yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to allow people to go without any like real hard. Like, there was a time when I was really, it's hurtful. There was a time when I was really hurt. You know, when the very man who's responsible for your life doesn't want to have anything to do with your life, for whatever selfish reasons he might even be going through. Yeah. There's a feeling of, why am I not enough? Yeah. And girls go through that differently than probably maybe boys do. I don't know how boys sometimes forgive a lot quicker, but girls are emotional. And when you don't have a father, it's hard to even deal with men. Because you don't know. You know, you don't know how to deal with men. You don't know. Okay, so a father is supposed to show you what to look for. Yeah. And what to look out for. And more importantly, so when you don't, to love you because you're just you. Right. And so when you don't have a man who loves you just because you're alive, then you start looking for men to love you. You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, I think if I always want, like, so not having a father growing up, I was never curious about it. I think there's a moment when I was in a teenager years where I noticed, it was really odd. I noticed my mother had a father. Yeah. So I don't know why it never dawned on me prior to that, but there was something happened within me where I was like, well, you know, mom she said dad one day. She said, you know, I'm going to go over dad's house. And I'm just thinking, wow, she has a dad. Like, I've never said the word dad. And it just dawned on me that, you know, like, our father's never been around. Hey, where is he? Yeah. You know, it just kind of like, as your teenage mind kind of does that. And, you know, so there's a lot of holes. And all of a sudden, I felt disconnected from myself. Yeah. And I think it might be because I was going on to the dating stage, and you're starting to get to like boys, and that whole thing is starting to happen. And you're realizing that, you know, and then I think as you get older, you start getting to bad relationships. You start picking the wrong men. You don't know why you're doing that. You're just picking losers because you don't understand it. And then I know, as an adult woman in my 20s, that there was a lack of connection with men. And so I had to figure that out in my head. Like, why is there lack of connection with a man? And I remember someone telling me before that, you know, if you don't know your father, a lot of times you're not whole. And I just never believed that, understood that. I was not, in my 20-something-year-old head, I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. You know, but it did make too much sense. Yeah. At some point, I was like, I am literally looking for my father. Like, through men. Like, I am literally dating, looking for my father through men, and I'm never going to find him. And there's such this really weird disconnection that you all of a sudden feel within yourself. And I'm sure the reason why it's probably challenging for your daughter right now is because she's lived her life without you. So the mere idea of you being even around is bizarre. Right. You are her blood, and she never knew you. That is bizarre. You're gonna have to like weigh this one out, man, because she would be well within her right to be like, look, my life has been fine. Yeah. I don't need any waves right now. I'm good. I made it through. I'm going. You know what I mean? And so we chose to talk to our fathers. There's a lot of holes in our, you know, story of our lives, and Kara and I really wanted to understand him as a man. And he was nice enough to tell. He was nice enough, just like you saying, like you said, it was not the mother's fault. Our father did that too. He said it wasn't your mom's fault. Yeah, he was honest. You know, I remember when I first actually talked to my dad, there was a sort of defense. Even when I actually went to, because we found his phone number, you know, and mom found it, and she gave it to us, and then we were able. It took me like a month to like call it. You know what I mean? And but there was this feeling, even when I was talking to him without Danielle, that I always never wanted him to think that he hurt me. You want to see tough, like you got through it, yeah. You know. Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's just, you know, when men, okay, so this is a big, you know, this happens with women too sometimes, but it's a little bit more rare with women for mothers to leave. It happens, trust me, it happens. It also doesn't mean mothers are better just because they say, there's a lot of mothers who keep them, and it's a bad situation. And then they're not good mothers, right. You know what I mean? So. But I do feel like, you know, for girls take it hard. I mean, I think all kids will take it hard if the parents are not around. But it's very
especially hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes with girls, because you're the first man that they're going to be looking at as their like hero, and that's the guy I want to marry, someone like my dad. You know what I mean? Like all the women I know who have dads or their dads around, they usually the ones that they usually run up really whole and happy. You know, I'm sure they've been to turmoil. They have had bad relationships here and there, sprinkles of it, nothing big. You know, but when you're women like Kara and I, you know, when we got into dating and stuff like that, like we met like not great guys.
Yeah.
And that was not now knowing what I know, it's not shocking.
Yeah.
Because we were looking. You know, at one point I even dated a man who was literally like my dad. He was like just the same sign, the same everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I not? I kept thinking, why am I getting this wrong? Like, what am I getting wrong here? You know, and it's just because you don't even know. Isn't that weird how you're psychologically, it's weird how you have a connection to somebody you have never met.
Right.
You don't know. We didn't even know what he looked like at one point.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even know what he even looked like. But for some reason, I knew that I was missing something about me in my own life.
This conversation does make me sad. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Where were you going to... Do you know what you're going to say?
Yeah.
You just thought
I was going to say that I didn't expect that to happen at all.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm curious to know where it's coming from.
I don't know. It just welled up all of a sudden. Like when you started talking about... When we started talking about him, all of a sudden I still started feeling like this girl. All of a sudden.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And I don't even really... I'm not really mad at him. You know,
Our
I'm not mad at
father?
our father. It's just for some reason I'm taking on her feelings.
Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're saying, because when I read,
I'm
this
over
email,
it, but it's just I'm kind of over it. But it's just like, I guess because hearing him talk about his daughter, I understand her.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that it's okay. So it's emotional because
you don't know what we do when you
right.
leave for someone.
Like so, Jalen, it's emotional for us.
I want you to see how I feel. I guess.
It's emotional for us because I know with your daughter, it's probably like, I don't want to say she's probably confused, but she probably is kind of like, damn, like I had it all figured out, and now you're back.
Now you're back. You could have taught me how to drive. You could have taught me how to deal with men. These drugs I had to deal with, you know. And I was gonna say that one of the things of like meeting my dad, you know, or talking to him, the way that I was acting was, I was defensive with him. And I realized at that moment that that's how I am with men. Period.
Defensive.
I never want them to see me hurt.
Now or...
No, then. Now it's different. I've learned how to, you know, but then, you know, when I was in my 20s and 30s, like when I was someone where Danielle was super aggressive towards men, I was super passive.
Yeah, we had two different... You're right about that. Kara and I had two different...
But you treated him the exact way also, because you were super... aggressive towards him. Our father, and I was super passive for a while. You know what I mean? But I remember when I was talking to him, the only thing that I could think in my mind was, I'm never going to let this man think he got to me. And so anytime a man used to hurt me, that's how I treated them. You could cheat on me, you can lie on me, but you'll never see a tear.
Everybody wants to belong and connect to their parents. And it's not like you're dead. That's another thing. Like, that's already painful enough, but the fact that you are well and living, and you've been walking around life, and, you know what I mean? And I'm sure she is, I don't want to disrespect people who have parents that passed away. And what I'm saying, though, is that there's a difference between a man, your father, dying, and you never knew him. There's another feeling of when your father is alive, has been alive this whole time, and it's maybe in jail, or, you know, just walking around life, having other families, having new families,
or playing father to kids.
Having new families and stuff like that. So it's just this is really kind of upsetting feeling that you get, where you just don't have any connection. And now what's happening, which you sound pretty like a logical man, like you're trying to have connection with your daughter now. So I would never say don't do that. Yeah, but you're gonna have to. I feel that you're gonna have to put in some major overtime, and even putting in all the overtime in the world may result and the connection never happening, and not because of hate towards you from her. It could just be literally because she's just moved on and it's what's best for her. You saw, or her kids, or whatever the situation is. I don't know exactly, but I personally didn't have a like Kara was saying before. Like I understood when my father explained to us the whole reason why he didn't come back. Like I said, he was extremely candid, and he didn't make himself look good. To put it that way, like he didn't make himself look good, but he told the truth, and that's, we can't really ask for more than that. And there's a lot of kids that don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for that, you know. And so I would say to you that if you are trying to connect with your daughter, tell the truth of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to be super dad and come in all of a sudden be, you know, I'm your dad again, and so here I am, call me dad. You know, no, that's not a thing. It's not a thing because
your feelings can't take precedence.
It can't,
because it's your fault.
Because you got a lot of explaining to do.
So yeah. I think my father was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
He kind of put his feelings ahead of mine because he was feeling some sort of way. See, I know that the way that he was feeling had nothing to do with me. So I knew it was how he was trying to fix himself because he's getting older in age, and he probably don't want to leave this world without saying to his 3 daughters, because we have a half sister, that he wasn't there for no other reason but really selfish reasons. You know what I mean? But you can't you've got to accept the challenge of challenging, because this is really a creature of your making. Had you been a father, maybe that you wouldn't be this weird. You know what I mean? But it is weird, and believe me, as challenging may sound, you don't probably know like what she's had to deal with internally as all of this time. You know what I mean? And dealing with her own self, trying to figure out why you're not enough. For someone who doesn't want, because you know, like even with me not like wanting children and not having them yet, it's because I just could not imagine being a single mother. I was never going to give my children not a father. That was just, I don't care if I have to never have kids. I'm not going to bring a child into this world that doesn't have a father that loves his mother, and they can see that, because I know what that is. And so why would I be a single mother and do that to another human being?
Because we get asked all the time, like, why aren't you guys married? Why aren't you guys married? Why don't you guys have kids? You know, we'll do a video about that one day. Yeah. But you know, the general response to that is that, you know, we even took somewhat of a risk at a, you know, fertility wise, to not have to purposely not have children, because we don't want to be single mothers. And we also want, this is the most important, we want our children to have a father. Because I do not want to raise, I would risk just not having one.
Yeah, exactly.
I would risk just not having a child if it means that I'm you know, going to be a single mother. Like that would be a risk I'm willing to take. So I think that.
And that's the reason why I'm so harsh on family values. Yeah. It's because I'm
conservative with it.
And conservative with it. Because I think that we have played a horrible, you know, joke on youth. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've made it seem like fathers don't matter. And they do matter. We've made it seem like husbands don't matter, and they do matter. They matter a lot.
Family doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, my mother was the good mother, but she couldn't be a father. She can't be all things. She can only be a good mother. You know what I mean? And so I'm not going to bring a child into this world, and then I'm sitting here with a child, and all they have is me. Yeah. They don't have the other half, and they don't even know them. Like, they don't even, like, you know what I'm saying?
This is
like,
urge.
They don't even know their dad. Like, I can't imagine my child not knowing their father.
Whenever I talk to young girls that don't have their father, like, I develop empathy for them to where I take on their feelings. I literally feel like I know what they're talking about, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Yeah. I really would not wish and I think that sometimes men. We did a show about sexual discipline. I'll link that above, about sexual discipline a while back, and a lot of men were like, oh, you know, there were some men that were like, oh, you know, sex is, we're all adults. If you're dating someone, sex is just something that's going to happen. And, blah, blah. And I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is that sex with no commitment can equal a child. You see what I'm saying? Like, we can't be so frivolous with this thing. So when I see men behave, and women too, but I'm talking about men right now because it's about single, fathers right now who are not taking care of their kids. When I see men who have 7 kids, 10 kids, and I know men who have this amount of children.
I know one that has 22 kids.
Yeah, there's no way in the world that you are taking care of all those kids. Now, if you are, I'm talking about emotionally. I don't want to talk about finances. And look, this whole conversation literally has nothing to do with finance, although that's a huge part for the mother. Yeah. But I'm just saying, this is about emotional and mental, psychological well-being of the child you decided to just cut out on. It is going to be diminished. They are going to learn everything by trial and error, and a lot of error, more so than any other woman who's had a father in her life. So it's going to be like she's gonna grow up trying to find you. Yeah, and she's never gonna find you. Right. She's never that. Your daughter has probably, dated and whatever, and maybe it all worked out. I don't know that
Sometimes
maybe,
it does.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes women get it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they get it. There are a lot of women that look. Most women that are Danielle and I's position are single mothers. Yeah. Somehow we didn't become that. So, yeah. You know what I mean? We don't. It was strategic. We didn't become that, and a lot of it's because I don't sleep around. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's cute. I don't want all men to have me. I don't want my child to have, a father that has many mothers. Right. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a guy that on my Facebook page that, I knew him from back in the day, but he was just a friend of a friend, but how Facebook is. And he's got 22 children. Your daughter, because our father wasn't received well in our family. You know what I mean? Right. Anytime people talked about him, he was the asshole that left my mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was able to, when I talked to him, I was able to let that go and just hear him. You don't want to think that your father's a loser. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Because he's part of you. And sometimes families don't know that they're doing that. They think that they're protecting, they think that they're standing up for, like my mom. Yeah. But what they're really doing is showing, they're talking about the other half of you. Mm-hmm. And you may not even think about it until you start getting out there and dating. And then you literally are meeting, every man was like my dad. Mm-hmm. Charming, every man. But gone. That was they didn't stay long. That's what I mean? Yeah, and that's why I was saying earlier that it's, to me, I just think that, y'all know that I'm always into like the human behavior and how things work out. And I think that it is so fascinating to me that you can literally need that. Yeah, you don't even know it. Like, you don't even know. I was in a space that I didn't even realize I was in, because that's the sad part about being raised with a parent, is that you, without a parent, whether even with boys, when they're not raised with their mom. I dated a guy that wasn't raised with his mom. He was mean to me. He hated women, but he wanted to date me. And I was raised on my dad, and I was all passive, and it was a horrible relationship. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. It's important that she knows you. Mm-hmm. I believe you're doing her a service, even if you don't have a relationship with her. You're doing her a service. But there is a lot of hurt that goes along when someone who's supposed to care about you more than anybody is vanished. And you can say, because that every man always, well, I did love my kids. No, you didn't. See, because you weren't there. The problem with that line is when people say, I love my. The problem is that love is an action. Yeah. So when you don't put that word into action, it's not true. Mm-hmm. So yes, she's 35 now. So you think about that number, like she's lived her life. She's living her life still. She's young still. But I'm just saying that all the important years that you would have made a difference in have passed. Long missed gone. Out. Long gone. They have passed. So the type of relationship that you're going to have with your daughter that you should probably be seeking is not going to, you should not be so, I'm trying to be your dad. Yeah. Because if it's challenging, that might be it, is that she's not seeing you as one. Now, as hurtful as that may sound to you, you're the one who just played catch up now. Yeah. So so she may just be feeling like, look, I'm doing fine, but if you want to be part of my life, let's talk. Like she may just be kind of casual like that, or she may be like, I really am not interested in you. And then guess what? She's allowed to not be interested in you. She's doing nothing wrong. She's just trying to live her life. You know what I mean? And the way that she sees it fit.
Now, I do think that there are a lot of women who are bitter, mad, angry, sad, have really bad relationships with men, just in that anger mode. And see, that's what I did when we talked to our father before. Like I didn't want to go there. So I didn't want to become that woman, which is why I made the decision to talk to him and hear him as a man, not as my father.
Yeah, because he didn't find us; we looked for him.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we looked for him, and then he actually, I think he felt like you. He felt like sometimes sometimes time goes past. Sometimes he said the reason why he didn't come like a few years earlier or whatever, he said because sometimes when time goes past so quickly, you think, should I just stay away?
Yeah, it's been too long.
And I can understand that. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, I can understand that. But I think, or maybe on some level, it was at this point because I had questions.
Yeah.
That I went to go look for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I did have questions. He answered them, and I'm appreciative of that. And I think, if anything, that he did give me is he gave me a glimpse of who I date.
Yeah.
And then now I'm totally unattracted to men like that. It's like I almost see it before they even walk up to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? And a lot of those men don't even come up to me anymore because I guess I'm giving off energy now.
Well, but you know what it is though? But see, I think that's interesting because I feel like you wouldn't have been that way though. Had we never had that conversation with our father, we would never get that kind of closure or that understanding. We got to understand we had a conversation with him, a real one, like a real like conversation with him, so uncomfortable one. So it's because of that. It's the reason why now the men that I'm attracted to and the men that are attracted to me are, I guess what I would say would be good men.
Yeah.
They pale in comparison to the ones I was dating before. The men that I am interested in now are not at all like those guys. They're like completely different people. Yeah. It's like these are stand-up guys that I'm attracted to now. And the men that approach me or that are interested in me are usually men who are pretty stand-up men. Now, I will say this, that the one thing as a woman who didn't have a father in her life, I don't care who you are or how much money you have. I don't care. If I find out you have children or a child, I don't care if it's just one. And my first question is always, do you have kids? If they say yes, or our age, they're probably going to have children. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. Do you have a connection with them? Not do you know them, talk to them. Do you have a connection with your children? Because if I talk to a man, date a man who does not have some type of connection with their children or left their children, and that's just it. I can't, no.
Yeah.
In case you did try to connect and it didn't work out, that's one thing, but I don't and won't approve ever of a man who leaves their family.
No.
I don't understand men who decide that it is completely okay to not be around. Now, in a lot of cases, some men, it may be good that they weren't around because some men are really messed up.
No, I struggle with that because the way that when we met our father, I struggle with that because I don't think he would have been a good dad.
I don't think
so sometimes I do think that he made a good decision leaving. Because even knowing him when I met him, I wasn't impressed.
Right.
In a daughter way.
Right.
I wasn't impressed at all. You know what I mean? And just hearing him talk about his life though, because he gave us a glimpse of all the things that he was doing while he wasn't taking care of us. And the thing is I don't think that he would have been a good addition to my life.
Right.
I think my mother, unfortunately, my mother, kept it. My mother is a good mom. You know what I mean? And she has her own, problems. But all in all, she taught us to be ladies. She taught us how to, do things like all the things mothers teach you: how to cook, how to dress well, how to do your hair, how to, make a living while you're single. You know what I mean? But she just couldn't teach us how to get a man. She didn't have one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she didn't understand that herself. My grandmother divorced her father. So. But
I would say our mom didn't really talk really bad about our father. I think everyone around
him.
So our mother never badmouthed our father through our life. When we mentioned him, she would give us truth, about whatever. But she never badmouthed him. She also didn't overly try to drag him to court to get the child support. She just had things to do. Look, she had 2 girls to raise. She didn't have time for court hearings. And,
she didn't take him to child support.
So there's side effects to not having a father in your life. Right. For men not having their mother. It's just not having one of your parents in your life. There's a side effect that happens to that because you don't have that balance there. So a lot of times the side effect is that I don't trust men. I don't like men. Some women even become lesbians. You know what I mean? That happens. There's just this thing where you feel like you don't want to start to try to understand why they left.
Yeah.
So you draw a conclusion so you can move forward in your life. And sometimes a conclusion for women who, this is for women who are angry right now with their fathers or whatever. If you're in an angry stage with your father right now, like, there's a point as an adult, you are going to have to fix yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you're a teenager or a child,
you can't spend the rest of your life blaming him.
So what happened with us is that I healed myself and found peace with my father. You know, although the relationship didn't work out, I got what I needed.
Yeah.
I got what I needed, which is that the story, all the answers, and then I was able to understand, identify why I was behaving the way I was then with men. So it was only through that closure that I was able to become the woman I am now with men. And now the woman I'm with men is that I'm not, I know what I want. Yeah. You know, I know what he looks like. I know how he behaves. I know what type of man that I want, and it's not the other people, you know. But that's only because I'm not angry. Right. So if I was an angry woman right now coming at you guys, men are shit. You know what I mean? There's nobody. That's an angry woman who has some daddy issues. Yeah. And that's honestly her process. A lot of times it was a woman's process to do that. And, you know, we all have, you know, a lot of women don't have fathers and weren't raised with them, have these kind of like process they go through where they do get angry sometimes or confused, not connecting with themselves, not connecting with men, not connecting, period. And then they kind of have this like anger within them. Yeah. Anger and rage. Really, it's just sad because underneath anger is sadness. Anger is just the outward kind of like attitude towards it, but really underneath that is sadness. Yeah. And you just, because you want to understand. Yeah. And it's because you don't, because he wasn't there to help you understand, you had to draw a conclusion.
I would say that's why I think we talk men up. And the reason why is because I believe that men are undervalued. I mean, look at Mother's Day. We blow up Mother's Day no matter how bad the mother is or how good she is. But Father's Day, no matter how good a man is,
it's like Father's Day gets
like this. Yeah, Father's Day gets virtually no love the way that it should.
So Kara and I we make a valid effort, I think, because of letters like this. Like, I appreciate you writing this because this is you said we were transparent in that video. This is literally
transparency.
This is pretty transparent for you. Transparent for you to do that and to email two women who went through this, you know, who are your daughter, in essence, you know, who are your daughter. But it's important for men to understand that you are important. Yeah. You are important because if you're a father, you're gonna be someone who is raising a life. Yeah. And I don't like when people put down men as a general sense. Yeah. Because I think it's contributing to men not standing up and being dads.
Yeah. I mean,
you know?
Right. I also think that the child support court has a big hand in how they treat men.
That's true.
Because there are a lot of men who try to get custody of kids, and the courts just, they don't care if the mother is a good mother or not. They just would rather the mother have it than women go and bleed the men dry in child support and not even really using it on the child. You know, and so I do think there's a hand to keep men out of the lives of their kids sometimes. You know what I mean?
The child, you were talking about the child support, the court situation. But I know a lot of men who have children and they are fighting. It's a lot of money, by the way. Yeah. You know, lawyering up to try to even see their child for more than every other freaking weekend. You know, and just trying to see their child. Period. So I know that is a huge stain on the system. Yeah. You know, with fathers trying to be fathers.
There are men who have gotten divorces, and when it's time to, you know, get the divorce and it comes to the children, they get them every other weekend. What is that? You see your kids every single day, and the courts tell you get to see them every other weekend.
So my heart and my respect goes out to men who are jumping over freaking, you know, fire rings trying to get to their children or their child. Spending all kinds of money trying to make this work and happen, and, you know, trying to get their kids to have a relationship with them. So I have a lot of respect for men that are in that capacity that are doing that. You did say that it's she said dollars, cents. You specifically said that this isn't her mother's fault. This is all on me. That says to me that you decided to leave and didn't come back.
Right.
So I'm glad you wrote that little line in there.
Yeah.
Because that you decided to not say, all her fault. You're taking responsibility for the situation. So it might be like our mom. It sounds like a mirror to our situation. Yeah. I had a really low self-esteem when I was younger, and I had a really good poker face. So you know what I mean. So but I did not like myself. I didn't even. It wasn't. I didn't feel any really attractive. I didn't feel like why would a guy like me? Like that's what happens. These are called side effects of not having the influential person in your life that you should definitely have, that is of the opposite sex, that could have taught you some of the things and made you feel pretty and made you feel like like I used to see those little father or daughter dances and little things that father and daughters do. I'm just thinking, those are so cute. They're so cute because it's like he's showing her this is what a date is going to look like. I know you're a little girl and whatever, but she's going to remember like, oh, like my dad took me to this father-daughter dance, and so when she starts dating, if that boy, whatever, falls short of any way of what that original date was with her dad, she's going to be like, goodbye. Yeah. And he probably let him step up to the plate. And men are better to women when they know you have a father. Yeah. Because they know they have someone to answer to. Yeah. And you gotta. You know what I'm saying? Because fathers that's what you protect. Yeah. You may not even know you're doing that, but that is true. Men are much better to women when they know that you have somebody that loves you. No, you don't even think. That's the weird part. Is that you don't even think that not having a father matters until you realize that it does, and you didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. That's like the I don't know the word to say it, but like the devil in it all. Mm-hmm. It kind of like the devil just screws up your family. Yeah. If you believe in that, I mean, it screws your family, and then now they've ruined a person. Yeah. So in closing, I'm sorry that I cried. Kara, shut up. Sometimes emotion comes out, you guys. It does. Like I didn't realize like I could be sad. Well, like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm not someone who cries. Kara's not. I'm not a crier, but for some reason, I guess I don't know. Maybe there's something internally that was making me feel that for him, for the viewer. Oh yeah, like the person who wrote the thing. Oh, maybe there's some energy in me that needed to come out, so you can see. So you can see how maybe she's not showing you feelings. Yeah, like she's really sad. Sometimes sometimes when people are angry, they're really just sad. Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time, it's really just sad. And so for me to cry, that means that that's deep. That's deep. That's what's real. That's like real. So, I mean, like, this is the thing. It's like, I think it's important for women to know their fathers, regardless if you have a relationship or not. Yeah. Because, again, at the same time, the person who left me is also the person who helped me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because he helped me to like men. Yeah. In an odd way. He helped me to like men, understand myself with men, understand where I fall short with men. Yeah. He helped me to see something that I wasn't willing to look at. Mm-hmm. And if I hadn't I guess if I hadn't have met him, I'm glad I made the choice to look for him. Mm-hmm. Because I think that I'd still be confused today if I had not known him. You know what I mean? And so for that, I always thank my father. Again, thank you so much for the question and the your own transparency. Kara and I, when we do these videos, we don't talk about lightweight stuff on purpose. We don't do that because we feel that like we said in the last video, is that change happens in the world when you have uncomfortable conversations, not comfortable ones. And this is uncomfortable because I cry. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I don't like to cry in public. It's an uncomfortable emotion in public. I know. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but I think this is what connects people back to each other. Right. So we appreciate you even bringing that up because a lot of men won't. I always err on the optimistic side of things. So I do hope that you guys figure this out. Yeah. And I hope that your relationship with your daughter really thrives and it works out in some way, whatever that relationship looks like. It won't be, it may not be the kind of that you're thinking about, but it may be something. So I really do always really hope that you guys connect in some way. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And that's it. Everybody have a good day. Bye.